Hello. He stole my heart and my wallet. Here you have one verb with two very different things. This witty twist of language is a great example of something called Zeugma, a classical rhetorical device that's as clever as it is compact. So let's break it down. Zeugma is a rhetorical or stylistic device where one word, usually a verb or an adjective, governs or modifies two or more parts of a sentence, but in different ways, often creating surprise, humor, or elegance. The word zeugma comes from Greek meaning yoking or joining. Think of it as one word pulling two meanings together, even if those meanings don't quite match. So let's look at some examples of zeugma. She broke his car and his heart. Well, the verb broke applies literally to the car, but metaphorically to the heart. He lost his coat and his temper. Well, lost means misplaced in one case and emotionally lost in the other. They covered themselves with dust and glory. Well, covered applies physically and figuratively. What types of zeugma exist? Well, there are two main types, depending on whether the meaning of the governing word shifts or not. So the first is grammatical zeugma or syntactic. One verb applies grammatically to two objects, but the semantic fit is off. So he took his hat and his leave. So one verb grammatically applied to two objects. And then there's semantic zeugma or synlepsis. The governing word shifts meaning entirely between the elements. So she dashed off her letter and her hopes. Some grammarians distinguish zeugma for grammatical mismatch from synlepsis, that's for semantic mismatch, but in modern usage, they're often used interchangeably. So both of these are regarded as zeugma. So why use it? Well, zeugma has three major effects, all useful for writers and speakers alike. Well, one, for conciseness. It says more with fewer words. Instead of he took his hat, he took his leave. You could say he took his hat and his leave. Use it for humor or irony. It can produce a comic twist. So you can say he milked the situation and the cows. And you can use it for elegance or style. So it shows off rhetorical skill. And it's a favorite in speeches, satire and literature. So if you want to teach it, why not try some of these engaging activities? So identifying zeugma, give students 5 sentences, only some of which contain zeugma. And can they identify which ones and explain why? You can do a creative writing challenge where you ask students to write their own zeugma sentences and set themes like relationships, travel or money. For example, you might give them a prompt, write a sentence where one verb has a literal and a figurative meaning. You can do rewritings for emphasis, so give a longer pair of sentences and have students combine them using zeugma. He closed the window. He closed the argument. He closed the window and the argument. And you can do compare and contrast exercises where you show the zeugmatic version versus a standard version and ask students which feels more powerful or clever or witty and why. So to sum up, zeugma is when one word governs two or more parts of a sentence, often in creative, unexpected ways. It's a tool of wit, brevity and stylistic elegance, and teaching it helps learners appreciate figurative meaning, lexical flexibility and rhetorical precision. Thank you for watching.